Okay, that is chocolate. If you are like, oh my gosh, is she gonna say chocolate? Yes, that's chocolate. And I love chocolate. And chocolate can be a health food. Yep, it can. So here's what you need to know about chocolate. It is incredibly rich in polyphenols. Remember that polyphenols feed your gut bacteria. So it's one of the highest in polyphenols, great for those microbes. Dr. Mindy here, and on this video, I'm going to show you some really unusual foods that I have been practicing breaking my fast with. And there's a nutritional reason, a health reason, of course, as to why I am using these foods to break my fast. I've been testing it out for a while, and now I'm excited to share it with you all. So if you are new to my channel, I just want to say welcome. I am a woman on a fasting mission to get 1 million people fasting. So welcome, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and dive in. I've literally got over 800 videos here, mostly on fasting. So if you're looking to build a fasting lifestyle, pretty sure you'll find a video here that will help you do that in a very successful way. And those of you that share my videos out, super grateful for you. I love being on this mission with you all. Okay, let's talk about breaking a fast. Now, here's what I want to say is that for years, this channel has been going for the last 5 years plus, but for the last 3 years, I have really been diving into videos talking about the miracles that happen when you fast. And in the last 6 months or so, I've changed that conversation, and it's based off of a lot of the questions that you guys are asking, which is how do we make the transition back into food after you've been fasting? How do we make that transition much easier for you? And I really am starting to see that that first bit of food you put in your mouth is the most important, especially because we're seeing so many changes that happen to the microbiome when you fast, that when you go to break your fast, you want to really make sure that you magnify those microbiome changes. And some of these unique foods that I'm going to talk about are going to help you do that. So I'm going to dive in. If you're not familiar with my personal strategies around breaking your fast, I have a lot of videos on it. My team will, of course, I'm sure, link in the notes here where you can find those videos. I have a whole philosophy about breaking your fast. This one, I want to show you the unusual things I'm now tinkering with. So here we go. First one. I'm not sure you guys can see this, but yep, that is a cricket. And I am not eating crickets to break my fast, but I am playing with cricket flour. And let me tell you why. What we know about insects is that they have all 9 essential amino acids. Amino acids are not only important for building more muscle, but they're really important for brain health, brain function, and moods. So I've been searching for some really great amino acid rich foods, and guess what? It turns out that insects is one of those foods. So here's what you need to know about cricket flour. Cricket flour has 65 grams of protein in a 1/4 cup of flour. That if you took a 1/4 cup of beef and you cut it up, it only has about 35 grams. So that's almost double the protein in cricket flour than you would get in a 1/2 cup of meat. It also has all 9 amino acids. It has more calcium than milk has, and it has more iron than spinach. It is a nutrient-dense food. Now, if you're like me and you don't want to stick insects in your mouth, this is why we like the flour. But then we have to ask, what do I cook it with? So I want to leave you with 2 resources that you can go find. One, if you're not familiar with my friend Bill Schindler, I've interviewed him several times on my podcast, the Resetter podcast. Recently, I interviewed him last week, so a new episode where we talk about insects and a few other fun things will be on there. So make sure you subscribe to my podcast. But here's his book, Eat Like a Human. He is a food anthropologist, which means he's been studying food and how we should be eating and going back and looking at the primal days. And one of the things he talks about is insects and how important insects are. Now, in Western culture, we don't really honor eating insects. Whereas I know we have a worldwide audience, a lot of you guys may already be using cricket flour. In fact, put it in the notes if you are. Now, in Eat Like a Human, he has some recipes for you. So if you want to dive into cricket flour, I would highly recommend you get his book. I will tell you what I got today. I ordered from him. He has a food store called the Modern Stone Age Kitchen. We will leave the link in here. And these are cricket bombs, and they're really good. So they're not too sweet. They do have a little bit of dates and a little bit of honey. And I know my keto fans out there are going to be like, no, I can't do that. But I will tell you that these are not very sweet. And they have, each one is so packed with protein. I had a couple of these today and it just killed my hunger. That's what I broke my fast with. So we'll leave the link for that. Okay, so first one that I'm practicing breaking my fast with is insects. Okay, second one, duck eggs. Now again, I know we're a worldwide audience and a lot of people are probably saying, well, I use duck eggs all the time. If you're not using duck eggs, I really want to encourage you to start to look at duck eggs as an incredible source of nutrition. Here's what you need to know about duck eggs. The yolk is where all the protein is. The yolk is where all the nutrition is. The yolk is significantly bigger than chicken eggs. And duck eggs are high in folate, B12, and iron, which for my ladies out there, this is what we need to really up. We need to up iron. We need to up all of our B vitamins for great hormonal health. So a classic go-to for me over the last couple of months has been duck eggs. Soft boil them, hard boil them. Sometimes I'll stick some sauerkraut on them. Sometimes I'll put some hemp seeds on them. Sometimes I drizzle some oil on them so I get extra fat to make sure that if I don't want to eat another meal for several hours, I'll drizzle some oil on top of them. But duck eggs, don't get stuck in the egg rut and keep eating the same chicken egg over and over again. That is chocolate. If you are like, oh my gosh, is she going to say chocolate? Yes, that's chocolate. And I love chocolate. And chocolate can be a health food. Yep, it can. So here's what you need to know about chocolate. It is incredibly rich in polyphenols. Remember that polyphenols feed your gut bacteria. So it's one of the highest in polyphenols, great for those microbes. It also has a vast amount of minerals, specifically magnesium. So my perimenopause, my menopausal women, this is when we start to see magnesium deficiencies show up. And it'll show up as more anxiety, it will show up as trouble sleeping, it'll show up as muscle tension where you can't relax. Let's get you a dose of magnesium, and chocolate can give you that. The other thing we know about chocolate is that it improves blood flow to the brain, it increases HDLs and lowers LDLs, and the last thing that it does that I absolutely love is it improves nitric oxide. So it will open up your blood vessels, bringing down your blood pressure. But also when you have good amounts of nitric oxide in your body and you've got these blood vessels dilating, what happens is all those great nutrients from the other foods you're eating can get through your blood vessels and circulate your system and get to the other cells much easier. Tight, constricted blood vessels are not going to circulate nutrients. Now here's the trick with chocolate. You've got to keep it at a very dark chocolate, so 70% or higher. And also we want to make sure it's not packed with a lot of sugar. So there's a lot of different versions out there. I've talked about Lily's I like. There's another chocolate brand, Lulu's I like. Recently, I've been geeking out on Hu chocolates. They do have coconut sugar in it, which is not as high on the glycemic index as regular sugar, a little bit lower, but also nice and tasty. I'm not a stevia fan, so I can't do stevia very well. So I've been munching on these. Again, we'll create a link for you. Make sure this is not a free reign to go have a Hershey's chocolate bar. You want organic, high quality, very, very dark chocolate if you're going to break your fast with it. Okay, last thing. This is another one that I've been working on, which is Beet Kvass. So this is where we now are adding in some really good probiotic rich foods. So if you think about it, when we fast, we start to create all these beautiful microbiome changes. We start to see that the inner lining of the gut starts to heal. When you break your fast with something like Beet Kvass, what you're doing is you're adding new bacteria into the microbiome of your gut. So it's a really good way to start to diversify that gut bacteria. We also know what's really cool about beet specifically is that it's very supportive of the liver. Okay, well, as fasters, we really need our liver to be functioning well. So when you add beets, especially in a fermented way into your diet, it's really going to help with overall liver health. Women, breaking down estrogen, we need our liver. Perimenopausal, menopausal women, we need that liver functioning well to be able to take our hormones, metabolize them, and make them usable to our cells. The other thing about Beet Kvass, specifically Beet Kvass, is that it improves leptin signaling. What that means is that your leptin that's hanging out on your fat and your brain can communicate more efficiently to each other. So when you're doing more Beet Kvass, you are improving your brain's ability to find fat and burn fat. And we know that Beet Kvass will improve oxygen flow to the brain. It also will open up your blood vessels so nutrients can go through. So it's also a nitric oxide facilitator. And again, a great enhancement for the liver. So there are my 4 unusual things. I always use myself as a test case, and this is what I've been testing. When you transition from the fasting window into the food window, that first meal can really make a difference in how you feel in your eating window. So remember, with fasting, we're trying to get that momentum with ketones. We're trying to get that energy and that healing to go and to really amplify in your body. So when we're strategic and we use unusual things like this to break a fast with, we just keep that healing power going. And it's a beautiful way to integrate back into food. So there you go. Let me know. I want to know 2 things in the comments. 1, what's your favorite thing to break a fast with? Okay. 2, I want to know if we have any cricket flower fans out there or insect lovers. And if you are an insect lover or an insect eater, what do you eat? What insects do you eat? So this will be fun. And as always, you are a miracle, and fasting will absolutely show you the healing power that already is inside of you. It doesn't take money, doesn't take time, doesn't take anything superhuman. You already have it inside of you, and fasting will show you that way. Hope that helps.